Okay, so here are 5 or 6 variations of squats that you can use to improve your leg development, build your leg strength, and hopefully I'll give you some ideas of what kind of, where your weaknesses are and what would help you. And so we're going to start with the back squat. So if you just watched the previous video, we have got hand position, shoulder width, maybe just outside, depending on how much your shoulders are. Set those feet just outside shoulder width, and we're going to squat all the way down, all the way up. Okay. So things to think about: elbows are coming back, pulling the bar into my back, so pulling it down, and I'm trying to make sure those lats are firing, and then hinge, and there to there. So the back squat is the daddy of all squats. If you've got a big back squat, you're basically harder to kill. So that's the first one. Front squat's next. So if you need to improve your core, or you've got an Olympic weightlifting bias to your training, then the front squat's probably going to be a little bit more beneficial for your training. But in all honesty, the bigger your back squat, the bigger your front squat. But things to think about here. So let me show you quick. I'll go this way. Okay. So a little bit of bar geography for you. So most bars are smooth in the middle. Some have got a little bit of knurling in the middle. It sticks to the neck a little bit. I'm not a fan. Digs in and sometimes cuts, but that's fine. Then you got the knurling. This is actually a 15 kilo bar, Pendlay bar. Pretty old, but still pretty good. We've got these rings on the outside. So some bars have got 2 rings, some have only got 1. This has only got 1, but essentially that defines on where you can put your hands. So some for like a barbell for bench, for powerlifting, you might not be able to go outside the outside ring. But again, check with your federation, make sure that all of that is good to go. Okay, so smooth, knurling, rings, and then the collars at the end. But that's the bar. Let's do the front squat here. So for the front squat, I'm going to go a little wider with my hands. Sometimes when my shoulders are feeling good, I can come a bit narrower. Maybe if I'm doing thrusters or something like that, where I want to get a little bit better overhead position, I'll go a little bit narrower. But for today, shoulders are feeling a bit beat up, so I'm going to go a bit wider. Roll the elbows forward, and we want those elbows as high as possible. Okay, and if it's on the throat, that is perfect. If it's choking, it's working. That is the perfect front squat position. So as you'll see in a sec, so find that position with the hands, roll into the fingertips, elbows high, and then we want to squat maintaining that elbow high position. Feet similar to the back squat. Okay, won't be able to hinge as much on this because you'll drop it off, and we don't want that. So there's the front squat. So there's squat number 2. So overhead squat. So caveat to the overhead squat is you need good shoulder mobility. Okay. This will highlight every single bit of mobility issues that you have. So if you've got tight ankles, stiff knees, stiff hips, stiff back, stiff shoulders, maybe one, maybe all, then this will highlight it. As you'll see in a minute, I've got some stiff shoulders. But the way to get into an overhead squat, so I like to go onto the back like a back squat. Now I find the ring that I just pointed out, and I'm going to go hands on the ring. Okay, so let me tell you what. Let's do it this way. Let's give you a back shot. Sorry about the butt cheeks. But you'll be able to see exactly what's going on then. So overhead squat. So there's the rings here. And we'll break these down individually in another video, but little push press to there. And then we want nice and low. As you can see, my right ankle's a little stiff, but we're pressing up on the bar all the way down. And that is squat number 3. Back squat, front squat, overhead squat. So if you do any kind of snatch work, you need to do overhead squats. So squat number 4, we're going to go Zercher. Now I'm a bit of a pussy, so I'm going to go with a pad on there. I see some guys doing this, raw dogging it with no pad. Absolute machines. But we're going to go pad. So essentially the Zercher squat is a little bit harder than a front squat. Get it in the elbow crease. Okay, it's almost like you're doing a bicep curl with it. And this will start to try and pull you forward. So this will work your core harder than just about anything on the planet. Feet again, squat width, just outside shoulders. And then we're going to squat. I'll probably need to just put those hooks a little bit lower. Okay, there to there. And one more for luck. And we're up. Now those are tough. So you might ask yourself, like, what kind of loads can you do? So if you can back squat 100 kilos, does that mean you can front squat 60, overhead squat 40? There is no correlation. But on the whole, you tend to be able to back squat more than you can front squat more than you can overhead squat. And well, I have no idea how much a Zercher squat should be in there. So have a go. Let me know in the comments what you get. So that's 4 squats. So we've got back squat, front squat, overhead squat, Zercher squat. So now we're going to go for a split squat. So a split squat is basically a lunge, I suppose, but we don't actually move the feet. So I'll give you a little side on view for this. So I'm going to do this as a back squat. You can do this on the front. So from here, we're going to go to a lunge position. So there and there. Find where you're comfortable. All right, toes slightly turned into the middle. And then we're going to drop down onto that knee. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. That is a split squat. So there are 5 squats to help you get started on your squatting journey. I personally am on the road to try and get back to 200 kilos plus by October for Squattober. So we'll see how that goes. Do you have any questions about how to squat? Need any help with it? Need a program? Then just remember simple things when you're programming your squats. They are tough. Strength-wise, 1 rep max should be at 100%. 3 rep maxes should be around about 90%. 5 rep max, roughly 80% of your max. And then any kind of program that you're starting new, like if you're doing like a 5x5 or something like that, just start conservatively. So let's say your back squat max is 100 kilos. Your 80% would be 80 kilos. So if you're going to do a 5x5, I would suggest maybe go in somewhere around about, maybe start at 70 kilos. Because the volume is going to be tough if you haven't done it before, and you want to make sure that you succeed. All right, so going back that little bit gets you ready, and then when you start doing your 5 rep max for 5 sets of 5, you'll be banging, you'll be buzzing. All right, good luck. Any questions, give me a shout.